What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more New Order, and we're returning to Technique. As always, big shout out to Erik for providing this awesome vinyl, as well as other music and general enthusiasm for a lot of what I do on the channel, as well as all the other people who've been following the New Order deep dive. And the next track, I believe, is Run. Do I have that right? Let me make sure I have this right. It doesn't say it on the back of the sleeve here. Yeah, it's Run, which is the first track on side B. So it's a verb. I do wonder, of course, if we're talking about physical kinetic running, you can, of course, run something as in operate it or control its processes. And in that regard, it could be a machine, it could be an organization, it could be a show, whether that is more literal or figurative. Like, I run the show here. I'm the one who makes the calls and the big decisions. So I wouldn't be surprised if it bears meaning on multiple levels or in multiple definitions. It seems like a title that would lend itself well to that. Nevertheless, I will try to catch what I can, so let's give it a listen. This is New Order. Do I have the right side here? Yes. Wait, no. Okay, here we go. So yes, this is New Order from the album Technique, 1989, and the tune is Run.
What's the use in complaining when you've got what you don't need? Anyone would think you were hard done to. What do you want me to believe? What the hell is happening? I can't think of everything. I don't know what it is or who I'm talking to. But I know that I'm okay, 'cause you're here with
multiple reasons. First of all, I love the layered guitar, lots of bright and compelling guitar lines stacked on top of each other. I enjoy those organ or like keyboard chords in the background, which I definitely noticed more in the final couple minutes of the tune. And I enjoy that interlude section, even though what came after it was still instrumental. Because, like, normally interlude, I'm thinking, is the part between the verses or, after the second chorus before the final time around for the chorus. But here it was an instrumental interlude where I actually thought it was fading, but I could also feel that, like, it wasn't necessarily winding down or just, extending into the horizon and gradually fading. It felt like it still had something more to say. And then sure enough, it came back in fuller again and went into the final instrumental ride out of the tune. So I enjoy the chronology and the sequencing of composition as well. And it's funny because I was thinking in the back half of the tune and after that instrumental interlude led into the final instrumental outro of the tune, it kind of reminded me of the like mid 80s Cure at the poppier end of that band's spectrum, in that it had a light and very just kind of vintage and to me nostalgic 80s feel. And I get it, it's 89, like, I don't know if that really applies, but yeah, it gave me that like classic like synth pop or synth rock even feel of an 80s tune. But also there's some Cure tunes where the track will be like 5 minutes long, but the vocals like only cover, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes of the track or like 2.5. And there's some Japan tunes like that too, where there's a lot of instrumental work, like a 2 minute intro, and then like, the final 2.5 minutes has no vocals or lyrics, but then there is a section for like 1.5 or 2 minutes where there are vocals. This one felt a little similar just because, again, the last 2 minutes of the tune or so were instrumental. So that was, an association my brain made during listening. But I very much enjoy the bright and guitar-led sonics of that one, even though if, again, you could also hear keyboards. And yeah, like, lyrically, I'm intrigued, because, like, at first, it sounds like he was, what was the opening verse? There was a line in the opening verse that, like, really caught me, and now, of course, I'm going to blank on it. Hopefully I can remember that before the end. But then, like, he comes back and he's saying, like, that's what it was. It was like, you're rising to the top. And I'm thinking, run. Like, again, controlling something, being the boss or the one in charge of making decisions and thus affecting everything and everyone below you. So it was like working your way up. But then what was it like? Breaking your life in two? And I was like, oh, shoot. Like, so whether he's talking a relationship or some sort of like social or maybe professional context, I'm thinking more relationship, but it still felt like, so is the implication that by striving in that way, they've actually unraveled themselves or caused problems for themselves? And then the next verse was something like, or, I don't know if it was the verse, because I think it came around a couple times, but it was like, why are you complaining? You got everything you wanted. So it feels like he's almost critiquing, which I guess even that line about getting to the top and breaking in two, that could be read as a critique. But the second part seemed a more direct criticism or critique, the idea that, like, what are you complaining about? You got everything you wanted, but you're still not happy or you're still upset about something. But then there was the lines where it was like, I forget, it wasn't like comfortable and contented, but the sentiment I got was that, like, I'm in a good place and I feel good when I'm here with you. So it seemed like the narrator was, on some level, indicating the positive qualities of, or at least the connection he feels to this other person, even if parts before that seemed like they were a critique. So I don't know how that all comes together. And of course you could be complicated. You could be looking in a mirror when you say that. You could be talking about every man, like every person. You could be talking, it could be like a metaphysical thing where, it's like a spiritual sort of you, or it could be, someone who's passed away. I feel like there's any number of ways it might apply, not literally to another living person, much less a, romantic partner or something. So I don't quite know how to take it all. But again, the bits I did catch, I was intrigued by. So yeah, another top tune from New Order on this awesome album. Once again, shout out to Erik for providing this. As I said, we just started side 2, so we still have a few more to go before we move on. And once again, shout out to Chris, who has provided other New Order material we can go to once we're done. And indeed, I did start an album after this, but after one track, this arrived, so then I jumped back in time. But yes, we've got more New Order coming beyond just this album. Thank you to the folks following along. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.